What did Jesus mean when he said on the cross, "It is finished"? Because we often say the work of Jesus was finished on the cross, but that's not actually what he said. He said, "It is finished." So what is it? So was Calvary the end? You see, most rational thinking, logical thinking Christians, none of them will deny that the lamb in the Old Testament sacrificial system represented Jesus. But what we fail to realize is that the high priest represented Jesus as well. You see, in each of these verses up here above me, every single one says the priest shall make an atonement. Atonement means forgiveness of sins. So you see, when the lamb was sacrificed anciently, that did not provide the forgiveness of sins. It was the work of the priest that did that. So when Jesus died on the cross, that did not forgive sins. It opened the way for sin to be forgiven. You see, Hebrews 4 says Jesus became our high priest, and Hebrews 9 says that he went to the heavenly sanctuary to continue his work for us. So you see, the work of Jesus was not finished at the cross. That was the beginning. You see, the ancient sanctuary, everything about it represented Jesus in some way. If you'll pause to read that, because TikTok, I only have 3 minutes. Pause to read this too. And I highly recommend you checking out this link above my head from Amazing Discoveries. Now let's keep in mind that when Jesus died on the cross, that was his sacrifice for us. On the cross, he was the lamb sacrificed for our sins. Now, a while back, I did a sermon called "Will the Real Gospel Please Stand Up?" You can find that on my YouTube channel. Just follow the link in my profile. But in prep work for that sermon, this person on Instagram left this amazing, mind-blowing comment. You see, in the Latin translation for the phrase, "it is finished," it actually means it is consummated. Jesus wasn't telling the Father or anybody else that his work was completed. He was telling us that the sacrifice was fulfilled or consummated. You see, in ancient times, as this person commented, the sacrifices were consumed or by fire, or they were eaten by the priest. And Jesus saying that his sacrifice was finished or consummated, he was really telling us that he could move on to the next phase of his ministry. You see, the writer of Hebrews in Hebrews chapter 9, which I believe to be Paul, says that Christ became a high priest by a greater and more perfect tabernacle. The book of Acts shows us that Jesus went back to heaven, right? But what's he been doing? Just sitting on a recliner, sipping drinks all day long? No. Hebrews 9 says he is continuing his ministry in the heavenly sanctuary for us. Christ has not entered into the holy places made with hands, which are the figures of the true. He didn't go to the Mosaic temple, he went to the heavenly temple. And just as the ancient sanctuary needed to be purified, that symbolized, as verse 23 says, so too the heavenly sanctuary needs to be purified, which is exactly what Jesus is doing with his own blood that he spilled on Calvary.